Welcome back to my channel, Joy Ani, scrapping in my own private Idaho, and today I am uh, scrapping along with Christy 30 Days of Sketches with Christy's Beautiful Life, and this is day number 6. And as promised, so I started off with this layout one way. I almost changed it totally, and then I thought, well, I gotta stop switching things around or I'm never going to get done. So let's go ahead and get started and look at the sketch. And this sketch is by Kathy Price, and she has a lot of things, a lot of paper layered. I try really hard to follow the sketch pretty closely, but I tend to be a fairly simple scrapper. So I haven't added quite as many embellishments because I just didn't know what to add. I'm thinking I might add eventually a few little things in here. I could add some bigger vellum bubbles, but at some point you just have to walk away from the page. So let me go ahead and get started. So yesterday I talked about print cut, I believe, and this, so how I made these, I'm kind of looking for ways. I was wanting to do a Dr. Seuss layout, but there was not a lot of Cricut cuts that I liked. And so I remembered that my friend Nettie often, before she became a Cricut person extraordinaire, she used to do paper piercing, and she used to use color books. So what I did with these cute little fish was, they are Dr. Seuss fish, and originally I was going to do one fish, two fish, but then I realized that my daughter made this cute little banner, so it did change a little bit. But there were two things that I did to get my Dr. Seuss cutouts, and I know that a lot of you don't have Cricut cutouts, and there are other resources that you can use if you are looking for fun little things to add to your layouts. And one of the places is you can go in and just type in on Google, type in free printable coloring pages. And I did Dr. Seuss, one fish, two fish, because he is officially 3 years old. And so that's what the theme I was going to go for. And I was able to print these out with my Epson printer that I dearly love. And let me show you how, well, I won't show you how to do that because it's a printer. But I did make these 3 fish. I don't know if you can see them. Is that? They turned out pretty cute. So this is garden green, and I printed it with just black. So I took my 8.5 by 11 cardstock. This is garden green from Stampin' Up, and I printed that one. And this is real red. And then, so that was fun, but I wanted to see if I could actually print, and another, I know that some people, they will use photo paper. I did not use photo paper. Oh, and I did want to say that when you are choosing something like this to, and if you're going to put it on cardstock, you want it to be just black lined. In other words, it's a coloring page, it's white. So this was white, I put it on the green paper, and then it cut it out the color I want it to be. That's the best and easiest way. Another thing that you can do, I will show you the book. So this is my book. Of course, it's Dr. Seuss. So I wanted to know if what would happen if I put it on white paper and used it as a color print. And that's how I got this fish. I do need to cut out his, you can see that I'm fussy cutting, but I thought he turned out really cute. For some reason, it would only let me cut out half sheets, and I was about ready to lose my mind. So and these scissors are huge. I didn't realize I was going to cut those out. But I'm going to add this one. I won't have to sit and watch you because I'm going to mess this up. So I do have smaller scissors somewhere, and if I uncover them, I'll finish. Oh, here they are. And so I just cut around this one, and I think it looks really cute. So let's talk about, now that you've seen where I got my ephemera, and all of this is still acid-free, so I'm assuming that the ink on my Epson printer is acid-free. To be quite honest, I don't know, I don't know how many centuries people are going to keep my stuff after I'm gone anyway, so I don't worry about it too much, especially when it's just fun little stuff like this. So I've got this little guy, and he's going to go on here. So let's look at Kathy's layout. I think it is such a fun idea. So if you are familiar with Stampin' Up, they had a paper pack that had otters. There were 7 pages of otters. I don't know what the artist was thinking. I don't know if they were particularly fond of otters, but so that was one side. But on the other side, they had a very usable paper, and it looks like the ocean, and that is what I'm using for my base. So this was called, and I did put it on clearance. It was not a small wonder that it went. So this was all of it, and some people did some cute things, and I actually have a cute layout idea that I want to do with the otters, and it's going to be cuter than I oughter be. But and this one I will use later. I'm going to use that one later with this one. But the back sides are very usable. The front sides, unless you are a particular otter user, probably not. But if you are local to me and you love the back sides or even the front sides of this paper, let me know and I can hook you up. So let's go ahead and get started. So my base page is the back of the otter paper. And so let's go ahead. I'm kind of nervous that I'm going to forget where I put things. So I might grab my camera and take a picture really quick, because it's just like what happens normally is I take these things off of the page and then I forget where I put them. My goal was to not use any Cricut cuts, just use my other ideas of using my copy machine to create ephemera. But I gotta tell you, I think I'm just too in love with my Cricut, and I wasn't able to do that. So let's go ahead and get started over here. So I have taken a picture just in case, and I'm using up some really old things, which I love. So my philosophy in life is if you use something that's more than 5 years old, it's like it's free. It's like you never bought it. Okay, so I have a 12 by 12, just like she has, and I'll tell you which layers I left off of hers. So this is, and I grabbed, so I was looking for some primary colors, so I had to go back in my stash because I don't know if any of that Stampin' Up is having right now that are actually primary colors. So this is actually a schoolhouse, I believe it was called Schoolhouse Designer Series paper, and has this on the back. And I'm going to put this, it is 3 inches long. I'm going to set it on the 9, and you can see that she, just like she has done, and like I said, I'm following it pretty close. And I wish this was red, because if that was red, I could put those on the fish. That would have been super cute. Hopefully I won't run out of adhesive, or I'll be up the proverbial creek. So I'm placing it down at 9, and that's real straight like that. And then this next piece is 4 inches by 9 inches, and then I tore it. And you can see she's done the same thing. And this is going to give us the base that goes under our circle. This might be from another. How I am storing my paper now, that I am not a flower person, and so when the paper packs retire from Stampin' Up, I am not a person that gets rid of my stuff. I use my stuff. So, but I do need to store it and know where it's at. So as I'm finishing up with paper packs, if it has flowers on one side, I usually flip it over, and whatever color that's on the back, because usually they have something like this on the back, or maybe a wash like this. So they have a busy side, and then on the back side they usually have something that's more neutral. And those are the papers that I really like, and so those are the ones that I use. So how I'm storing them now is I have been putting them in back of my 12 by 12 two-tone cardstock. And so so let's use this paper for example. I love this paper. So it has two sides. So this is the side that I think is the most usable. So I would put that next to my Real Red when I'm storing my stuff. I put it right next to my Real Red so that when I'm going along, I can go ahead and use up my stash. And I do use up my stash, so yay me. So the next thing I'm doing, and this has been in my stash, I think I've had this since about 2008, 2009. So back in the good old days when Close to My Heart was still around, they had what they called dimensionals, and they were punch-outable, and this is one of those. And so it worked perfectly for my layout. It's just the right size. So I'm trying to see if I've got any more that goes on here. Okay, it looks like, and I'm going to just put this. So this is, I can share this title with you, although I will tell you I cut it apart. So if you go on, if you pop over, this was just one. I typed in officially, and this is what it came up with. So, and it actually said officially 3. So it had the like a little fishing bobbin thing, and I didn't want that. I just wanted an O. So I had a die cut, so I put that on there, and I cut it apart on the top and the bottom because I wanted his little picture. We'll cover his cute little face up because he is adorable, but he is not my child. He's my grandson. So I'll cover him up. So I'll put this up on officially, and I liked how it was curved, and then this for number 3. So I'm going to make sure that it's where exactly I want to go. I do have, so I have film strips. So what I do with the film strips is I enlarge them to the place where I can put pictures in them. So she has, you can see that she has a film strip on her layout idea, but I never want to miss an opportunity to put in pictures, especially when it's birthday and there's a lot of them. So I make sure that I have pictures that can go in there, and I have my Epson, the same printer that printed these beautiful pictures, also printed my fish. So I don't get anything for telling you how wonderful the Epson 3850 is. I bought it specifically because it says it can print on cardstock. I do have friends that have the Epson 2850, and they say they have absolutely no problem whatsoever printing with cardstock. But I didn't want my warranty to be bad, so I went ahead and I think I paid $100 extra to get the Epson, and I think, well, I'm going to scoot this over a little bit, even though it's a little bit to the side because I want this to show. Okay. So, funny story. Okay, here we go. I'll put that right there. So everything's exactly where it is. And these are quite heavy, so I'm going to use glue dots to punch those down. So for the bubbles, I cut it out of vellum, and I cut it out of the blue. And what else have I done? And I'm gonna slide this guy in under here, and I'm gonna cut off part of it. I just kind of want him to stand up here like he owns the place. Well, he's really cute. I do think the Dr. Seuss fish are so adorable. I couldn't resist. And this month is Read Across America. I was a librarian in my former working days, and so March I usually read a lot of Dr. Seuss books, and you know, perfection never gets old. I love Dr. Seuss. So let's put this right here, and so I'm going to talk about this. So this was actually from a stamp of the month towards the end, Close to My Heart. had the stamp of the month where you could, and they got, so they had thin cuts that went with them. So this is what these are, but they Stampin' Up! I'm going to, in the description below, I will put Stampin' Up's version of this, which is super cute. I think I took a picture of it. I actually thought I bought these on clearance because they're only $12.60, but I I went to find it. I couldn't find them, and I thought, I'm not going to spend another hour looking for stuff. But I'll show you how cute that is. So that is called Just Notes, and it will make something similar to this. And it has extra stuff. So, and I think it had a stamp set that went with it, but really all you need is the dies. So I need to really check my stuff, because if it's not there, I do want to get that one, and it's on the last chance sale, and it's $12.60, and that's a great deal. So these two things, these dies and this film strip, is something that I use on a fairly regular basis, and I'm just going to tuck this under like this. I'm just kind of auditioning it, making sure that once I move things around that everything will fit. So this is the main thing. So I want this to come down a little bit. Okay, so let's go ahead and put the circly thing, and my little heart things keep covering, falling off, and you keep getting wonderful glimpses of my adorable grandchild. He is a cute little fellow, and he was so happy on that day. So another funny story is, so I only have 2 children, and both my children have one child. My girls are 6 years apart, and so my oldest daughter had a child on I'm not going to tell you what day it is because that's too much information, but they were both born, both my grandkids were born in December on the same day. So they are birthday buddies. So I went 14 years with only one grandchild, and then actually they were born on the same day. I just knew when she said she was pregnant in December, I thought, oh, you're gonna have birthday buddies. It seems to be, our family's very small, but we have several sets of birthday buddies, which I think is just so funny. And that's what we call them. We call them birthday buddies. And I have, one of these days I'll do a little a layout that will be called the birthday buddies, because I have a couple really cute ones of them at their parties, at their respective parties. Okay, so we've got this one here. Oops. But I've got this little guy here. I think this goes up a little bit more, because I've got this guy, and I'm going to cut this off. Yeah, so I'm going to have that there. So I've got that down. I better do my picture. So my picture is about 3 inches, and with the Epson, I can cut. I print out 4 on my 1 8.5 by. So I print as I need them, and then if I need, because I do 8.5 by 11, so I don't want to do individual ones. And so I printed it out on this particular 8.5 by 11. I can get 4 5.5s by 4 1/4. So this picture is actual, it's a little different size, but it hasn't caused any problem. I just adjust the size so that I can get 4 of them. And I have replaced my ink. I have replaced my ink 1 time in 2 years, and I print all the time. So some people, they're a little bit fussier about it, but I just think it does a great job, so I have no problem with it all. I want this, I don't know what, he is a fish. Let me put this over here. So this is going to stick out right here. And it's, if you look at Kathy's layout, see how she has it over here. I don't have a quote. I could have, I might print one later. I might print it from a book, 1 fish, 2 fish, red fish, blue fish, or something like that. to do that. I'm sorry. This is covered up, and I want it to be angly. So let me get this. But this is a die that I have used and used and used. Anything that has this kind of look on it, it's not just for, I bought it originally because I worked in a school, and I thought, well, that would be handy to have, but I use it on all kinds of layouts that have nothing to do with school. Obviously, this is a birthday layout. So that goes there. And then I'm going to angle this so that it covers up my circle. She has hers, see how she has hers tucked under? For my pictures and for what I'm doing, I am changing that. And that's the beauty of a sketch, is you are going to change it to make it work for what you have. I kind of want this to go over that like that. Kind of gives a little added dimension. Okay, so I'm gonna, all right, I'm going to glue right underneath here. Gluing stuff down is not my superpower, I don't think. Okay, so I'm gonna put this guy. He's so cute. But it really has opened up a lot of things, because if you get into the license, I do have Cricut Access, and I use it absolutely all the time. But when you start getting into the licensed one, and maybe you're only going to do a layout, it might be cheaper for you to find a coloring book. And all of these, the fish and everything, that was totally free. Kind of. Okay, she has hers bigger. I think I'm at peace with that. And I thought about inking this blue, but I took one-dimensional and I used the gloss spray on it. It didn't look very good. So I'm going to have that right here. And I have little fish. I have this fish coming up here like this. That's his bubbles. He's blowing bubbles. And I'm going to just glue him down, but I will pop dot him, so, because he needs a little bit of height on here. And this is taking a little bit longer than I normally do. I really try to get my videos to be about 15 minutes long. And then this is officially. Oh, now I'm thinking, you know what, I kind of want it to go up a little bit. If I move everything up, yeah, I think I'm going to move everything up. Okay, here we go. Move the whole shebang. Because I'd rather have space at the bottom than space at the top. So I'm going to move everything. Everything goes up. And then I just need to make this straight. And if I could, you know, if I knew how to fast forward and do all those fancy schmancy things, you wouldn't have to sit and watch me monkey around with this so much. Okay, so then I'm going to put this. Oh, I like that so much better. I like that so much better. And I do like to have things touchy-touchy. And I'll have this pop up too. I might throw some more little water bubbles in here, because I do think it needs something. Or if I find some, here we go. I need another fish that goes this way, I think. I had another fish that goes this way. That's probably what I'll do. When you come back on, I'll probably have my fish over here instead of over there. Anyway, so that is my layout. I hope you will like and subscribe to my channel, and I hope they'll drop back by. And I will always try to be thinking of cheap ways to use the things that we already have in our house, because, you know, it can be kind of a spendy little habit to have. Okay, so anyway, I'll mess around with that a little bit more. Yeah. Thank you so much for stopping by. Talk to you later. Thanks. Bye.